Good morning everyone. So for this video, we'll tackle about instructional planning and development. Instructional planning and development is comparing the traditional and standard-based framework for planning instruction. Instructional process are select a topic from the curriculum, select standards for among those students need to know, design instructional activities, design an assessment, decide through which students will have an opportunity to demonstrate those things. It designs and gives an assessment which learning opportunities students will need to lead those things and plan appropriate instruction to assure that students had adequate opportunities to learn. Outcome-based and understanding by design is one of the features of outcome-based education, which is design down. Understanding by design is also known as UBD as a backward design. Like outcome-based education, the first step in understanding by design is identify the result, followed by determining assessment evidence. Instructional planning and development have two practices of instructional planning. First, we have outcome-based education, and the second one is the understanding by design or the UBD. Outcome-based education is a design down, which is it determines first the learning target before you design instruction. While understanding by design is identify result. Identify the results followed by determining assessment evidence before you design the instruction. That's how the two practices of instructional planning differs from each other.
Components of a lesson plan. Components of a lesson plan are materials and all resources, timeline, introductory activities, developmental activities, and closing activities. So before that, let us first define what is a lesson plan. A lesson plan is a guide for teachers to present objectives that students will accomplish throughout the day. This keeps the classroom organized and ensures that all material is covered adequately. The first component of a lesson plan is materials and all resources. This would include any materials, text, colored paper, visuals, manipulatives, whiteboards, graphic organizers, and others. It is important to have all materials ready to go for the delivery of the lesson. All resources that includes the lectures, readings, textbooks, multimedia components, and other resources in a course. The role of materials and resources is to provide a source of learning experience for our learners, assisting the process of interaction between students and teachers during the teaching and learning process. At the same time, they help students to learn and increase their experience meeting different learning needs. Resources are very useful as supporting tools in teaching and learning by giving students the flexibility to access files and materials without the supervision of an instructor in a more informal way, such as browsing the organization's virtual learning environment, whether at school or away. The second one is timeline. It's helpful to pair learning activity with a timeline to help keep the class on schedule. It's also a great way to figure out if the lesson is realistic given the class time available. The third one is introductory activities. This is usually done at the start of the school year or the start of every new lesson. It gives them the opportunity to get warmed up and prepared for the fitness component that's about to follow. It really is the part of the lesson plan where you set the flavor for the rest of the lesson. The fourth are developmental activities. Development activities are strategies to gain knowledge, skills, or abilities. The example are data gathering activity, organizing and summarizing activities, application activities, creative and expressive activities, and concluding activities. And the last component of a lesson plan is closing activities. This helps students better understand what they have learned and provides a way in which they can apply it to the world around them. This can be used to see what conclusions the students drew from the lesson to ensure they are making the appropriate connection to the materials. Closure activities or closing activities also serve as effective assessment tools, providing teachers with feedback regarding students' understanding of the lesson, highlights areas that require further clarification or reteaching, and this feedback allows teachers to plan for their next class, facilitating a smooth transition between classes. That's all for the components of a lesson plan. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Ocampo, and our next topic is elements of a lesson plan, instructional plan, and learning plan. So we have elements. First, anticipatory set, objective and purpose, input, modeling, checking for understanding, guided practice, independent practice, and closure. So first, let's talk about the anticipatory set. So anticipatory set is a short activity at the start of a lesson that focuses the students' attention and gets them ready and excited for the material you are about to present. The anticipatory set should grab the student attention, connect to their prior learning, and prepare them mentally or physically for the lesson ahead. So second is objective and purpose. So objective and purpose aims on lesson plan event, describe what the teacher wants learners to be able to do by the end of a lesson or what they will have done during it. So teachers can tell learners their lesson aims or involve learners in setting them. So this can help create sense of purpose and progress. So third, we have input. So input refers to the exposures learners have to authentic language in use. This can be for various sources, including the teacher, other learners, and the environment around the learners. So when the teachers are talking in classes, they are providing opportunities for learners to develop their comprehensions. And fourth, we have modeling. So modeling provides high level of student-teacher interaction. So make it happen, your classroom explicit teacher. Modeling should happen at every grade level and with every subject area. So in order for the modeling to be successful, teachers need to plan the modeling experience carefully. And for the fifth naman is checking for understanding. So checking for understanding can also come in the form of a short quiz. A quiz can be given at any point during a lesson and can provide you with valuable information about student learning. And sixth, guided practice. So guided practice is a direct instruction model where the teachers present scientific content using two phases. The first phase is in the introduction of the material to be covered by the lesson. Here the teachers present the content and give explanation of the concept covered by the lesson. And the second phase is the practice phase. Students will first take part in the guided practice where the teacher demonstrates how to approach the exercises the students are going to work on. The student will then independently practice in the skill and concept they have learned about the practice in guided practice. 7. we have independent practice. So, independent practice essentially asks students to work with little to no assistance. This part of the lesson plan ensures the student have chance to reinforce skills and synthesize their newly acquired knowledge by completing a task or series of tasks on their own and away from the teacher's direct guidance. And the last is closure. Closure is what the instructor does to facilitate wrap up at the end of the lesson. It is a quick review to remind students what it was they have learned or should have learned, and allows you to see where the students are to assist you in the planning for the next lesson.
So now, let's talk about the acronym where to. So the first letter is W. So it is ensure the students know where the unit is headed and why. So the second letter is letter H. Hook the students in the beginning and hold their attention throughout. Next letter is letter E. Equip students with necessary experiences, tools, knowledge, and know how to meet performance goals. The next is letter R. Provide students with numerous opportunities to rethink their big ideas or reflect on progress and revise their work. The next letter is letter E. Build in opportunities for students to evaluate progress and self-assess. Next is letter T. Be tailored to reflect individual talents, interests, styles, and needs. Last letter is letter O, which is organized for optimal effectiveness. So let's come now to the next, which is the learning development, indirect deductive, and indirect inductive instruction. So when we say deductive, it is general to specific. So under the deductive, we have 7 lists. And the first is input. The second one is modeling. Third one is checking for understanding. The fourth one is questioning strategies. The fifth is guided practice. And the sixth is closure. And the last is independent practice. So in inductive, when we say inductive, it is specific to general. So there are 4 A's under the inductive instruction, which is the first A is activity, followed by analysis, and the third one is abstraction. The last A is application by Malcolm Noel.
Important points to remember in planning and organizing instruction. Okay, a question is, why planning and organizing instruction is important? Organizing and planning help you get your work done accurately, avoiding costly mistakes. It helps you to be more efficient and productive. It also allows you to achieve important goals and objectives. In planning instruction, it is good to be reminded of the following. First, that our daily teaching learning is supposed to contribute to the realization of the vision and mission statement of the department. Here is the DepEd vision. We dream of Filipinos who passionately love their country and whose values and competences enable them to realize their full potential and contribute meaningfully to building the nation. And as a learner-centered public institution, the Department of Education continuously improves itself to better serve its stakeholders. Here is the DepEd mission: to protect and promote the right of every Filipino to quality, equitable, culture-based, and complete basic education, where students learn in a child-friendly, gender-sensitive, safe, and motivating environment. Also, teachers facilitate learning and constantly nurture every learner. Administrators and staff as stewards of the institution ensure an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning to happen, and family, community, and other stakeholders are actively engaged and share responsibly for developing lifelong learners. Number 2, if you belong to a private institution, bear in mind the vision mission statement of your school in addition to the DepEd's vision and mission statement. Your teaching learning must be aligned to your school's vision mission and to that of DepEd. Number 3, according to the qualification formulated by DepEd, the grade 10 graduate must be able to demonstrate A. Knowledge across learning areas with core competences in communication, scientific, critical, and creative thinking, and the use of technologies. B. Have an understanding of right and wrong, one's history and cultural heritage, deep respect for self, others, and their culture and the environment. C. Apply foundational knowledge, skills, and values in academic and real-life situation through round reasoning, informed decision-making, and the judicious use of resources. Letter D. Apply skills in limited situations with close supervision. At the end of grade 12, the graduate must be able to demonstrate more knowledge and skills with a higher degree of independence. The qualifications are letter A, knowledge across learning areas and technical skills in chosen career tracks with advanced competences in communication, scientific, critical, and creative thinking, and the use of technologies. Letter B, have an understanding of right and wrong, one's history and cultural heritage, deep respect for self, others, and their culture and environment. Letter C, apply functional knowledge, technical skills, and values in academic and real-life situations through round reasoning, informed decision-making, and the judicious use of resources. And letter D, apply skill in varied situations with minimal supervision. Number 4, these grade 10 and grade 12 qualifications laid down in the Philippine Qualifications Framework flow into the standards referred to as outcomes in outcomes-based teaching and learning that are contained in the curriculum guide for K-12 developed. Number 5, our instructional planning is supposed to begin with the study of K-12 curriculum guide for the subjects that we teach. Number 6, which instructional plan is you going to prepare depends on what your school requires. It may be a unit plan or a lesson plan or both. Number 7, apply all the principles of teaching and learning that you have learned in Principle of Teaching 1 and the research-based instructional strategies. Number 8, always begin with the end of mind. Number 9, do assessment to ensure learning. During instruction attainment of competences, we have diagnostic test. Beginning of instruction entry, skills and knowledge, we have summative test, and end of a unit or grading period, content performance stand, we have formative test. Number 10, give your students opportunity to assess themselves. Number 11, you teach two types of knowledge. Declarative, these are facts, concepts, principles, hypotheses, and laws. And procedural knowledge, these are manipulative skills and process. Number 12, Wiggins and McTighe assert that assessment of the student's performance consists of a photo album rather than more traditional of a snapshot. Assessment tools and process, tests and quizzes, academic prompts, reflective assessment, culminating assessment. And last, don't forget the part of instructional planning is utilization of assessment results.